Can I ask you guys, do you know what the SBA is? The SBA. What is the SBA?
Small Business Administration.
Good. It's the Small Business Administration. And what is it? What is the Small Business Administration? I'll tell you a quick story, but what is the Small Business Administration? I'll grab those. Thank you. Thank you. What is the Small Business Administration? Anybody know? So it is an agency of the federal government. It's an agency of the federal government, right? I want to tell you guys something. In 2009, the United States had the worst economic crisis that you and I experienced in our entire lives, all right? Second worst to the Great Depression in the 1930s that I teach about in my fashion history class. What happened in 2007 and 8 and 9? What led to this horrible economic crisis? What happened? That was definitely one symptom, right? That a whole bunch of banks, 81 banks to be specific, lent money called subprime mortgages to people who really should not have borrowed that money, right? To people who are really not qualified to borrow that money. So they bought a bunch of houses that they really should not have been living in, and then what happened? Well, if you borrow money that you can't pay back, what are you gonna stop doing? Paying it back, right? And so banks started repossessing all of these homes all across the country. That sounds all fine and great, except that the houses weren't worth as much as the bank paid for them. And so all of a sudden, you had banks going out of business. Okay, but that was one issue. That was one symptom of the illness. What else was going on? What else made the US economy hurt so bad? And then I promise I'll bring it back to what the heck does this have to do with writing business money?
Businesses weren't spending more money.
That is absolutely true, and think about that. When you and I stop spending money, when you and I are not willing to buy stuff, what happens? It's a really serious thing. When you and I are not spending money, what happens? Think about it, it's a really vicious cycle. So let me come over here. You and I stop spending money. So we lessen the demand for stuff. What do you guys buy? Tell me what you buy. I haven't had a kitchen in 9 months. You know what I buy? Restaurant food. Every freaking night. I haven't had a kitchen in 9 months. 9! I am so sick of restaurant food, folks. I eat out every night. Okay? So, I'm good to the Dallas economy when it comes to restaurants. What else? What do you guys buy? What do you buy? Clothes. Of course, you guys are all the good-looking group. What else do you buy? Okay, thank you. What else? Like what? How many of you made a big ticket? I didn't purchase like a car. We bought a car in the last few years. Nobody? How many of you have bought a piece of electronic equipment, a television, a phone? How many of you was that person on the iPhone, on the Apple Store line, you know, when the new phone is released? How many of you bought a new purse? How many of you bought shoes? How many of you have bought a trip, an airline ticket? Okay, so here's the deal. Watch. When you and I are willing to spend money, let me go the opposite way. When you and I are not willing to spend money, companies produce less stuff. Okay? When companies produce less stuff, guess what they do to their employees? Lay some of them off. When layoffs become big enough a thing, guess what happens to the wages, salary, pay? When lots of people get laid off, what happens to wages? When lots of people are out there unemployed, what do companies need to pay people if lots of people are looking for jobs?
As little as possible.
Right, correct. We don't have to pay as much because lots of people are looking for jobs. And when companies' salaries and wages are going down, what are we buying? What are we buying?
Nothing.
Less. So we're buying less. Companies are producing less. Companies are producing less. Companies are hiring fewer people. Companies are hiring fewer people, wages go down. Here we go again. Wages go down, so what do more people are unemployed, so what do people do? See? It's a vicious circle. Okay, so that is what was happening in 2007 and 8 and 9. And so at the time, the Obama administration had to come up with some kind of cork to plug into the bottle to stop this cycle. Do you follow? 2007 and 8 and 9. One thing we were doing, besides defaulting on our mortgages, well, we were not buying cars, especially American cars. Why? Why were we not buying American cars?
Big ticket.
Okay.
Just real quick, is Kaylee Thompson in here? Kaylee Thompson? Okay, what about Sarah Anderson? Okay, quick. If you can just go to the front desk on the next break or after class, you're good. Thank you.
I never do breaks. I hope you all don't have to pee. I don't pee because I'm superhuman. I'm just kidding. What was my question? Why are we not buying American cars? Why were we not buying American cars? 2005 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9.
Well, wouldn't it relate to how things like they have their tax when they come to the country?
Okay. So
So they would be more expensive.
possibly. The number one car Americans were buying during that period was the Hyundai something. From where? Japan. Or Korea? South Korea. Yeah. Yes. Let me tell you something. American automotive jerks, fools, dumbasses were building these giant ass cars like Hummers. And they were flooding the American market with cars that I know this is a weird conversation to have in Texas, did not want. That the American consumer didn't want. We didn't want these giant gas guzzling like pickup trucks, right? Most of America wanted the Toyota Prius. I have a saying, on the road of life, there will always be a Toyota Prius to slow you down. That's a saying of mine. On the road of life, there will always be a Toyota Prius to slow you down. No offense to any of you who drive a Toyota Prius. But, okay, so the automotive industry was in distress. The housing market was in distress. The banking market was in distress because all these people were defaulting on their mortgages. And so the Obama administration and the Bush administration, 2009, came up with something called, and you don't have to write this down now, we'll learn it another week, the Troubled Asset Relief Program. You know it as the bailout. You heard of the bailout? And the bailout was a whole bunch of taxpayer money, hundreds of millions of dollars of your money that you pay from your paychecks. Some of it went to the automotive industry, some of it went to the real estate industry, but here's why I'm bringing this whole damn thing up. Some of it went to this agency, a division of the federal government called the Small Business Administration. And what this division does, what this agency does, is basically promote the creation of small businesses. Why? Who cares? Why does the government care? We know why the government cares about the banking industry. We know why the government cares about the automotive industry. We know why the government cares about the real estate industry. Why does the government care so much about the small business health of our country?
Because there are more of those, and
That's the answer.
employ people.
That is the answer. Because more Americans are employed by small businesses than by any large corporations in the United States. We could talk about Walmarts, and we could talk about airline industry. More Americans are employed by small businesses. So when you guys start businesses, what do? Hire people. You create jobs. Got it? And you will create more jobs than any Walmart or any, Chase bank will. And that's why the federal government is so into funding this Small Business Administration, because they want Americans like you to start the next, who knows what, Facebook, the next Instagram, the next Walmart, okay? So, there are many parts to a successful business plan. What I'm asking you to do in this class for this term is highlights. Okay, it's still going to be a sizable document, but it's not going to be every single piece of the entire business plan because it's a little bit too sophisticated just yet for our class. So it's highlights. Okay, I got a little creative with this presentation, but follow along. It's the last page of your syllabus. I have outlined for you 7, notice it, 7, yes, sections of your business plan. And in parentheses, I've given you all kinds of like little notes, comments, okay? So we're gonna go through them. Take notes, wherever you normally take notes. Take notes wherever you're gonna go back and look at those notes once you start getting ready to write this paper. Some of you will start this week and some of you are gonna wait until the night before. By the way, it is physically not possible to do this the night before, okay? Believe me, I've gotten lots of feedback over that. Okay, first things first, a cover page. So there are 5 really important things to go on a cover page of a business plan. Now wait, I'm getting ahead of myself before we even go to the cover page. Raise your hand again if you've come to Wade College because you have some kind of business enterprise in mind that you want to be involved in, start up. Let me see hands. Okay, about half of you. Cool. For the other, or more than half of you, for the others, you guys are like me. I went to college because I wanted to go work for a big prestigious company. That's why I got into the executive training program at Bloomingdale's. I never really thought about starting a company. For you guys, you're gonna get the experience of writing a business plan. And that's a valuable experience, even if you're not starting your own business, okay? It's a valuable experience to go through the steps of this. So, you can do this based on reality, something you really wanna start, or you can do this based on just the project that you're doing for this class. That's cool too. Have you guys heard of Urban Outfitters? Yeah? How many of you shop at Urban Outfitters? Sweet, nice, great. I gotta start learning some names.
Claire.
Claire. Shop at Urban Outfitters ever? No. Okay. You're not hurting my feelings if you say that. Do you all know Urban Outfitters, which is now owned by Anthropology, started in a business principles class just like this. It was 2 students in a group project. Don't worry, group project is like an F word to me. I don't do group projects. Group project, and literally the professor told them at the end of the term, you're onto something, this might be something. And they wound up starting the business on the campus where it originated. And then next thing you know, 400 stores later. And then corporate merger with Anthropology. So who knows, who of you right here are the next Urban Outfitters? I don't know, I root for you, I hope that's the case, okay? So, what's your first homework assignment in this class?
To log on Jupyter.
Log on Jupyter to make sure your business, okay, cool. Here's your second homework assignment. It's what I call toilet bowl homework. Okay, you can do it while you sit on the toilet. I need you to start fleshing out just the idea. What is this business plan going to be based on? What kind of business am I starting? Okay, I'm going to give you something really important to chew on in 1 second, which is called competitive advantage. Right? That's your toilet bowl homework. What is this going to be on? What am I writing about? Okay?
I don't know if you remember, but I own several businesses already. Can I write one on one I already have, or do you want me to make up another?
I want you to do whatever, and I'm saying this to everybody, I want you all to do what you are the most passionate about, what you're excited about. My answer is always going to be, I don't know, because it's not my business. You're gonna hate hearing me say that. I don't know, I can't really give you that advice because I'm not doing it, okay? I'll give you the structure, I'll give you feedback on the structure, but I want all of you to do something you're super, super into and excited and passionate about, and man, I'm just the bystander. I'll give you feedback, I'll read it, I'll give you lots of direction. I have a lot of experience, I have my own business plan. But a lot of it's gonna be your own research and your own ideas and concepts, okay? Let's start with the cover page. 5 things on your cover page. And guess how many points it's worth? 5. So it's a no-brainer, right? Leave one out, lose a point. Your name, your company's name, logo. Oh my God, Mr. Conti, I haven't even learned Photoshop yet. No problem. Just give me a really rough, don't spend more than 1 minute on it. give you a rough idea of what the company's logo is going to look like. Even that's like the one thing I'll let you plagiarize. If you find something else that it looks like, no problem. This is not a graphic design project. I don't need you to spend a lot of time on it, okay? Just give me a rough sense of what the logos of the company is going to look like. The date and the word business plan. Please identify what the heck is this document. It's a business plan. Write that word, okay? By the way, in Jupyter, I've already uploaded a Word doc with all of these headings. So all you need to do is just start typing. Made your life easy. Okay? Use it if you want, don't use it if you don't want. Okay, part one, executive summary. Do you all know what an executive summary is? It's usually a nice little soundbite for a busy person, and I'll ask you in a second who this busy person is. It's not me. For a busy person to read and to get a snapshot of what this business is to decide something. But who is the person? Who's going to read the executive summary? Who's going to read the whole business plan? Of course, I'll read it. I'm going to read it and grade it. Who's reading this business plan? Investors. Banks or investors? Banks for the purpose of securing a loan for this business, and investors for the potential of securing investors. Okay? You guys, Dallas is a massive private equity venture capital city. Do you know what that means? There are organizations out there whose entire being is to invest in the next big thing, whatever that is. Donna Karan was the next big thing 100 years ago. And a private equity firm invested in her company when she was nobody with 7 interchangeable black pieces. And overnight, Donna Karan DKNY became an international success. So you are writing this whole document to a bank or to investors. I'm reading it, but your real audience is a bank or investors, okay? Executive summary, 2 parts, A and B, make sure you separate them. A, describe to me, to the bank, to the investor, what is this business? Literally, what is it? You interior designers who are going to start various forms of interior design service-based business, a lot of your banks and investors don't even know what interior design means. Explain it. Are you residential? Explain what that means. Are you commercial? Explain what that means. What type of services do you offer? What do you sell? Those of you that want to start a retail store, an online store, a styling service, explain in plain English exactly what you do. Do not take for granted that I understand anything. Okay? You want to be a fashion show producer. Explain what that means. What is a fashion show? Why do we have them? Okay. And then the other thing is, I really, really, really need to know in this first paragraph the city and state. It says it there. The city and state. Why? Why do I need to know Miami, Florida? Why do I need to know Las Vegas, Nevada? Why do I need to know Dallas, Texas?
Maybe because there are different taxes, different laws.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm an investor that's just not looking to invest in Miami, Florida. Maybe I have enough exposure there. Maybe I don't want to take on another business in my portfolio that's Miami, Florida. So I need to know exactly where you are. Okay? That's your first paragraph. You could do that right now. True? You could do that right now. Okay, second paragraph, B. Executive summary, letter B. Probably, I'm not joking now, the most important thing I'll teach you tonight. Competitive advantage. Do you guys know why 75% of all new restaurants, speaking of restaurant food, close in their first year? 75% of all new restaurants close in their first year. Do you know why? What is it? Yeah, because there is nothing different or better or special or unique about what they're bringing to the marketplace. They're doing the same damn thing and people are already loyal to something else that is the same damn thing, okay? You all must, if your business is going to succeed, do something that is unique, that is different, that is better, that is some unique combination of 2 things, that offers some type of unique service that another competitor doesn't. Something about your business needs to have a point of view that is different. Okay? Dallas, Texas does not need another Mexican restaurant. And some are able to open and survive in a very crowded marketplace because they're doing something that is unique, okay? The example I always use is frozen yogurt. In my neighborhood here in Uptown, man, we have a Pinkberry, a Yumalicious, a Yogalicious, a Menchie's, there's like 7 yogurt shops. How can they all exist? Some of them 2 on the same block. How can they all exist? Still the same damn thing. It's frozen yogurt. How many of you guys like frozen yogurt? I love me some frozen yogurt. How can they all exist? They're all doing the same damn thing. How can they all thrive and compete against each other? How?
Maybe some have different like specials.
Okay.
Their prices.
It's hot in Dallas, yup, totally. One thing we're learning about the Amy's ice cream story is that she says, like, you know, you want to be in a market where you don't have to educate them about the product. And here, there's a wide window to sell that type of product because of our climate. Yeah, that's true. What else? It's really simple. Marketing, right? Each of them has a really defined point of view. Like Pinkberry, that's for the cool hip people. And Menchie's is more for the families. And some of them are self-service and some of them are for the, you know, more mature. But each of them has a very specific target audience, right? It's the same damn thing, it's frozen yogurt, but the way it's being branded is different. Okay, so what is going to make your business different or better than the competition that exists? And can I tell you something right now? You can try me. Go ahead and try me. There is no such thing as we have no competition. Try me. Try me. Because at the end of the day, what your company is asking a consumer to do is to spend their money with you instead of wherever it is that they're spending on right now, okay? So, but Mr. Conti, I am the only, you know, company that is a boutique and a cupcake bakery in my area. That's great. Then you have 2 sets of competitors. Boutiques that sell similar merchandise to the same audience and bakeries, okay? So really give this some thought. What is going to make your concept unique, different, better, okay? All right. Most business plans get thrown in the garbage after that paragraph. Do you hear me? I'm not being mean. I'm not being bitchy. Most business plans go in the garbage after that paragraph because they don't establish some kind of competitive advantage that really says we are going to be successful in the marketplace. Don't be scared. I'll help you. Okay? Questions? Part 1. Good? Yes? Okay. Part 2. Yes?
So what would you consider a good competitor?
We are the only one in a trading area. We are the only one in the trading area that combined 2 different types of products or a unique product and a service. We are the only one with this image. We are the only one that meets this specific target audience's needs. We do something that's unique and we offer a service that no other company offers with the product. Things like that. Those are things that really create competitive advantage in a marketplace. I can help you brainstorm if you have some ideas. Okay, part 2. Part 2 is what I call the devil's in the details, okay? Let me tell you what you don't write in any of the sections of part 2. You do not write to be determined. Should determine them. That's the point of a business plan, okay? You never write to be determined. You give me the details. Part A, what do you sell? Literally, what do you sell? Is it a product? Is it a service? Is it both? Okay. Part B, location. Well, Mr. Conti, I just told you the city and state. Now I want to know the actual address. Why? And this includes if you're going to be a home-based business, you're going to operate this business out of your kitchen table. That's cool too. You'll disclose that here. Why do we need to know the actual address of your location? Well, remember, people are not reading this. It's only me, only an investor, only a bank that you're applying for a loan for. But why do we need to see the address?
Make sure it's in a good area.
Sometimes being in a bad area is where I want to be.
Knowing where our money is.
Okay?
What you invest in.
What do I need to know? Well, what's the name of this document? Business plan. Needs to know you have a plan, right? And that plan includes having already secured a location. Now, you can choose a location that, you know, could be real, could be not real, could be actually for lease, not be for lease. I don't care. But in reality, I need to know that you have a specific location already scouted out, okay? And then you're also going to explain to me, why is this the most appropriate location? Why Uptown Dallas? Why Richardson? Why Miami, Florida? Why? And I'll tell you the answer right now. What is the answer? Because that's where our target audience is. Yes? Because this business is meeting the needs of a target audience that's in that vicinity. Right? That's why you're going that's why is Wade College here in this building? Because it's a central location for our target audience, and we're next door to our industry. Okay? Part C, hours of operation. If you're a website, your hours of operation are probably not 24/7. Do you sleep? Yes, I sleep. I love my sleep. My sleep is my favorite time of day. I need to know, what are your operation hours? Okay? Literally, when are you operating the business? Is it 9 to 5? Is it longer? What are your hours? Okay? By the way, if you want to be a retail business in a place like North Park, you don't get to choose your hours. You know that, right? There are tenant required opening and closing times. Okay? The retailers don't get to choose their hours. They have to abide by the landlord's rules. Here in the Infomart, we can do whatever we want because we're in a corporate setting. Some of you will be in a corporate setting. Okay? That's hours of operation. How are we doing? Good? D, type of ownership. I'm going to have an entire lecture on this. Sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation. I am praying to God that none of you choose sole proprietorship. Why do I say that? Because a sole proprietorship means your house, your car, your dog, the Gucci's on your feet can be taken away if grandma sues you. That there's no legal separation between you and the business. When I go home and I bake a dozen cupcakes and I bring them to church to sell, I don't go to church, who are we kidding? I'm acting as a sole proprietor. Do you understand that? And if grandma chokes and dies on my cupcake, she has recourse to sue me, the person. Not me, the enterprise, me, the person. My house, my car, my dog. You follow? I don't have a dog either. But we're going to talk about creating legal separation between you and your enterprise, your business. That's what I really want you to do. Got it? Okay. E. What are all of the things you have to get done up until the business opens? I don't know the answer to that. That's for you to figure out and research. Do you have to do things like sign a lease, hire employees, design a website, buy inventory, create marketing? I don't know what else. Go into production. I don't know what else. It's going to be for you to figure out and research, depending on what type of business you're starting. This is going to be a little like calendar almost of all of the things that you have to get done, with the last thing being soft opening, hard opening, grand opening. Yeah? Okay. Questions? By the way, in addition to a blank Word document, I also uploaded on Jupyter a real complete business plan that you can look at to model, not plagiarize, but taste. You can taste. All right? Yeah.
When did you say this is due?
You tell me. Let's just look.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
December 17th.
I got you. I thought this was
Tuesday, December 17th.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've got how many weeks? 12. You have 12 weeks. That's reasonable, no? Totally. Okay. E. F. You ready for F? Last part of part 2. What is, oh man, I mixed these two up, I'm sorry. I was just talking about F. F is the calendar. E is, what is the total amount of money required to start this business? Okay? Now I'm going to tell you something about part E. So grab a marker. When I read part E, and you tell me it requires $10,000 of startup, I am going to immediately flip to part 7A. So let's go there now. You're going to write in part 2E, the total required capital to start this business is $10,000, and I'm going to immediately skip to part 7A to make sure you're not cheating me, stealing my money. So I'm going to go to part 7A, which is your capital, equipment, and supply. Capital, equipment, and supply. What is capital equipment? It's different from monthly expenses. What is capital equipment? Wade College, every year, most years we don't have capital equipment costs. And some years we do. But in the first year of your business, you have lots of it. What is capital equipment and supply? Well, what's part 2E? Just read it to me. What's part 2E? Startup costs. Okay? So what is your one-time upfront startup costs? So if I'm going to open a boutique, I need things like fixtures, furniture, lighting, an exterior sign, flooring, rugs, decor, stuff that I'm going to buy in the first year, but I'm not going to buy again, or I'm not going to buy for a long time. Okay? Cash register, computer, vehicle maybe. What are the one-time upfront costs your business is going to incur? Okay? Not monthly stuff, not ongoing stuff, not inventory, not marketing, not salary. The stuff that you're going to buy to get this business started and total it. Now, if you total and you tell me it costs $10,000 to start this business. And by the way, if you don't know how much things cost, I'm being serious, look them up. Every now and again I get a business plan and they're like, computer, $50. No, shit, where are you finding a computer that's gonna operate your business for $50? You know, sofa, $100. Like, good luck finding a $100 sofa. Really look and see how much stuff costs, because you're gonna be disappointed if your budget is itty bitty and then you can't afford to get started. But my point is, you tell me that the startup cost is $10,000, but then I read in part 2 that your startup cost is $100,000, I'm going to say, you're shady. I'm not touching this business. You're totally shady. You're asking for this much, but you've only accounted for this much. Okay? The numbers have to match. Got it? Make that note. 2E has to match 7A. Okay, one more thing. Everybody okay? Nobody's freaking out, right? There is zero reason to freak out. You got 12 weeks and all of my help. All right? The other piece of part 2E is, where is it coming from? Where is the money coming from? So let me tell you something. If you go to a bank right now to get a mortgage to buy a house, what does the bank want from you? You walk into a bank to get a mortgage for a house. What does the bank want from you?
Tax returns.
Sure, all those documents and down payment. The bank is never going to lend you 100% of the value of the house, right? Very, very, very rarely, even if you have the best credit. What does the bank want from you? A piece of your skin. That sounds gross. But they want to know that you have skin in the game. Bank is never going to give you. So the same is true here. no investor or bank is going to give you 100% of the startup cost. You have to show that some of your money is tied into this, even if it's a little piece, even if it's 10%. Even if of the $10,000, John Conti's putting in 1,000 is looking for 9,000. See the math I just did? 10,000 minus 1,000 is 9,000. So I'm putting in 1,000, I'm looking for $9,000, loan or investment. Okay? So, show your startup cost, show how much you're putting in, and show how much you need to borrow or take on investors for. Harry. That's my boss's name, by the way, Harry.
So basically, for 7A,
Grabbing
when
it,
we talked about to like list the materials
Yeah.
and whatnot, like when it comes to listing those things and to total the prices, would those materials come in bulk or, well, not besides the furniture and whatnot, but what about like things that of your products and whatnot? So
Yeah.
would you list like how many you need or of that set product or?
Okay, so just so we're not confusing the two, right? Part 7A is just your upfront, one-time equipment, fixtures, furniture, lighting, construction, labor, that type of stuff. Okay, hold that thought for Part 7B when we talk about the ongoing stuff. Okay, because if you mix apples and oranges, you're gonna lose points. Okay. Part 7A, just your one-time expenses. Okay, questions about Part 2? A, B, C, D, E, F. The rest will go faster, okay? Part 3. Part 3 is your product overview. Raise your hand if you are at least thinking right now that your business is going to primarily sell a physical product. A physical product, whether you ship it, whether it goes in a shopping bag, let me see hands, physical product. And then raise your hand if your business is primarily a service. You're selling some type of service, an operation. Okay, for you service people, change the title to service overview. There is no product, okay? Change it to service overview. Part A is your merchandise assortment for those of you selling a product. And for those of you selling a service, change that to service assortment, or just services. Okay. Now you're like, wait a minute, Mr. Conti, in Part 1, I told you what I'm selling. In Part 2, I told you what I'm selling again. Now Part 3, you're asking me again, what am I selling? This is where I want the real specifics. If this were a retail store, and I already told you that I'm a menswear shop, now I'm telling you that I sell sweaters and knits and outerwear and woven shirts and denim and footwear and swimwear. I'm getting into the specifics, the menu of what the business sells. If this were spa, now I'm listing my spa services and retail prices, okay? If this were a service, now I'm creating a menu of all the specific components of the service that we offer. Got it? Okay? And now I want to answer part of Harry's question. Part 3B. B is where does it come from? So, for you product people, who's fashion in the room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you guys are going to produce a collection, where does the fabric and the trimming and the buttons and the zippers and the interfacing and the lining and the plastic and the hanger and the thread come from? That was a mouthful. Where does it come from? Okay? Can I tell you the wrong answer? A retail store. You will never be profitable if you are buying your stuff from retail stores. It will be impossible to make a profit. Where do you have to buy your inventory? Wholesale, of course. Okay? You got to find, no bakery buys butter at the grocery store. They buy it from a restaurant depot, wholesale resource. Okay? Do I know all the wholesale resources? Not in all these fields. You're gonna have to research them and find out. Okay? Ditto with supplies. You're not going to Staples to buy your office supplies. You have to find the wholesale suppliers of the supplies that you need to run your business. Okay? Talk about them in Part 3B. Okay? Part 3A, overview of what you sell. Part 3B, where does it come from? Where do the supplies and materials and inventory and raw materials, where does it come from? All right, how we doing? Part 4. I'm getting thumbs up. Part 4 is simple. Who's your target market? Answer all my questions. Give me a sense of their age bracket, their race, their social class, the types of work they do, their lifestyle. Give me a real picture that you understand who you're selling to. But Mr. Conti, I sell to everybody. This is the Rainbow Coalition. That's beautiful, kumbaya, I love it. People, customers, you and me, we want to see ourselves in brands. We want to see ourselves in marketing. So it's great, you can sell to whoever the hell you want, but who are you marketing towards? What does your marketing look like? Okay? An 18-year-old and a 60-year-old, they don't shop in the same places. They don't dine in the same restaurants. Maybe they do, okay? Somebody who's lower middle class and somebody who's upper middle class, they don't eat the same food. They don't drive the same types of cars. Paint me a picture of who it is that you're trying to attract. There's no right or wrong answer. They just need to be able to afford your product or service. So who's your customer? And then who is your competition? Locally and nationally. Locally means they're mom and pop in your hood. Nationally means they're a national corporation in your hood. Do you see the difference? If I'm John Conti Pet Store, I compete against, Lucky Dog Barkery in Inwood Village and Petco in Inwood Village. You follow? Local and national. Okay? A little research, figure out who they are. Who is doing something similar? Okay. Don't be scared. Part 5 is where some of the math comes in. Okay? 5A is super fun marketing. Tell me about the marketing. How are you going to introduce your concept to the marketplace? Will you have a website? If you don't have a website, who the hell are you? You're not legit. So, a website. Are you going to do some public relations? Are you going to do paid social media? Are you going to have public relations? I said that already. Are you going to have a grand opening event? What types of marketing are you going to do? As low key as flyers on cars, that still works. Postcards to a mailing zip code. Okay, everybody good? Part 5B. Part 5B is your moment of truth. It's you figuring out whether this is a waste of time or not. I mean that, okay? Sales strategy. I'm going to show you how I would do this section. You can do it however you want. We just have to come up with how much is this business going to make. Okay? Here's how I would do it. I would start part 5 with defining what is one average transaction. Okay, so what does this mean, average transaction? At John Conti's cupcake shop, an average transaction might be $5, because I'd be selling $5 cupcakes. At John Conti's interior design firm, one transaction might be $25,000, which would be a project for a client. So you need to define what is an average transaction. Okay, let's call it $6. That's a cupcake at a cupcake shop. Okay. Then how many daily transactions based on where you are located, how big a volume your business is, and how much your production will allow, there's a lot of factors. How many daily transactions would you like to have as a goal? Keep my numbers simple. Okay. So my daily sales goal, simple math, 6 times 10 is $60. Okay? My business on an average day will generate $60. How did I come up with that? Because the average product that I sell might be anywhere from $1 to $15, but the average product is $6. And I anticipate 10 transactions a day based on, my foot traffic and where I'm located, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Now, is the business going to be open for just a day? You have little faith in me. You don't think I can run this business for more than a day? I bake some good ass cupcakes. No, the goal is that the business is going to be operational year round, yeah? So, from here I get into maybe weekly sales goals, monthly, with the end result of coming up with an annual sales goal. Or in plain English, how much money is this business going to make in a first 365 days? I don't think first year because you're not opening on January 1st. But in a year, how much is this business going to make? Okay? Now, let's talk just for 1 second, and then I'll let you guys go in a few minutes. How about seasonal businesses like, I always use this stupid example, a florist. Can we think about a florist for a second? Florist makes 50% of their business or more in what month? February. Literally. They do half their business for the year in the month of February because of Valentine's Day. You're right. Okay? So this would be a really stupid way for a florist to figure this out when they're doing half their business in 1 month. Okay? And then you get to like August. No offense to you, August birthdays. Anybody have an August birthday? There are no holidays in August. Yeah? A lot fewer recent deaths, actually. By far, right? So this is not a good way to set up a florist's annual sales goal. So give that some thought. What will be the ebb and flow of what you're selling? Will it be consistent? Like the dude who owns the sandwich shop downstairs. You guys been there yet? It's like, it's good in a pinch, all right? Wraps are okay. Soup, I question what's in that pot. Burger is good. You'll live on the burger. His business is pretty consistent year round. Why? Yeah, because there are people in this building year round. It doesn't change. And generally 5 days a week, there's going to be a consistent flow of business. So he could set his sales strategy up just like this. Okay? You've got to think about your business. Okay. You see this number at the bottom? I don't know. Let's make it fancy. $1 million. I'm going to need that number later. Okay? So make sure that you are coming up with a conservative sales goal, and you're going to use that number later. Cool? Okay, let's do one more section and we'll call it quits. Questions here? We'll talk about this a lot more, I promise. Okay, part 6, I'm going to teach you in a organizational structure lecture. It's just about who are you hiring? Who's going to report to who? We'll talk about that. But what I want to talk about is part 7. We already talked about part 7A, which is your capital equipment and supplies, right? Furniture, fixtures, computer, software, I don't know, construction, exterior signage, decor, what else? I don't know. Total. Part 7B are your monthly expenses. I'm going to tell you right now, write it down. The number one monthly expense that students always forget, and I don't know why. To me, it's like the first thing that would come to my head is salary, including your own. You, the founder, CEO, whatever the hell your title is, owner, proprietor, creative director, whatever you want to call yourself, aren't you doing this to make money? Well, that's your money. Don't you want to pay yourself? So, one monthly expense you really got to think about is salary for you and anybody that you employ. Okay, what else? Rent, utilities, inventory. For those of you who are selling a product, you're going to have the cost of inventory, whether that inventory be raw material or finished products, right? Whether that inventory be clothing or fabric. Inventory. Marketing. Marketing is not free. Social media is not free. You all get that, right? No company can just post for free and think it's going to go anywhere. In fact, most of the algorithms with social media today, Facebook, Instagram, they don't serve your posts anywhere unless they're paid posts, right? So even if you're like, oh, I'm just going to do social media, that ain't free. You got a budget for that. You have to put money behind your Instagram every month. So marketing, insurance. What else you got for me? You know, the operation of a vehicle, if that applies to your business. What else? supplies. Come on, don't make me do all the work. What else you got? Ongoing monthly costs. You know what else is not free now? Software. Gone are the days where you just like buy Adobe Photoshop Illustrator Design. You pay for that crap every month. So things like software. Okay, whatever else you come up with. Now, if your rent's $1,000, is it just for 1 month? How many months are in the year? 12. So you gotta remember to multiply by 12. If your insurance is $100 a month, multiply by 12. All the numbers in this plan are annualized numbers. That means that they're for a year, okay? That's your sales plan for the year. That's your capital equipment for the first year. And this is going to be your ongoing monthly expenses for a year. Got it? Okay, last thing I'm going to teach you tonight, I swear. Balance sheet. Okay? Anybody ever take an accounting course? Nope? Okay, here's your crash accounting course. Let's go here. There are 5 parts to a balance sheet, a skeletal P&L statement. Skeletal P&L. Does anybody know what P&L stand for? Good. Profit and loss. Who said that? Did that come out of your mouth? Okay. Profit and loss. Watch. We're going to use all of the numbers that we just came up with on the board here. Ready? The first line of the skeletal profit and loss, sales. Sales. Another word for sales, revenue. Another word for revenue, money coming in. Where do I get that number? Part 5B. Got it? Sales, part 5B. Just plug that number in that you already came up with. Part 5B, $1 million in sales. Where did I get the number? I figured it out here, right? Average transaction, daily transaction. I came up with my annual sales. Okay. Second line of the skeletal profit and loss statement, COGS. COGS. What is COGS? Anybody? Give you brownie points. No? Cost of goods sold. For those of you who are selling goods, you're going to have COGS, cost of goods sold. This is the cost of your inventory, or the cost of your raw materials, your fabric, your trimming, your buttons, your zippers, or whatever the hell it is you're selling. At the cupcake shop, this is my flour and butter and milk and sugar and eggs. Okay? I always laugh when the COGS number is like super tiny. I'm going to generate $1 million in sales on $100 of inventory. Oh yeah? What is it that you're selling? Okay? A lot of times, I'm telling you from my experience at Bloomingdale's, COGS can be as much as 50% of sales. So to generate $1 million, I may spend up to $500,000. That's a 50% markup on my product. Okay? So think clearly here about how much it costs to buy whatever it is that you're selling. For those of you that are performing a service, your COGS may be 0. There may not be cost of goods sold. It may be 0. Okay, sales minus COGS equals gross margin. Gross margin, a fancy way of just saying the difference between the money we're making and the money we're spending on the product. Okay, so 1 million minus 500 is 500. Are you with me? Okay? Does everybody understand where the 3 numbers have come from so far? Yes? First number has come from part 5B. Second number has come from part 7B, right here. Okay. Third number is just subtract. Okay, good? Fourth number. Sales minus COGS is gross margin minus expenses. Tonight, I have taught you 2 kinds of expenses. What are they? two kinds of expenses, capital and monthly. Capital expenses are
One-time deal.
beautiful, there's a one-shot deal, and monthly are ongoing, okay? So I'm gonna take all of my capital expenses and all of my monthly expenses except what have I already used? Oh. I don't want to count this number twice, right? Everybody get that? Yes or no?
Yes.
I already used this inventory number, right? I'm already factoring it in. So I want to not use this number, okay? I want all of this, doesn't make sense, 600, okay? Except for that, because I've used it already. I don't want to count it twice. With me? Tell me if you're not. I'm gonna add up all these numbers, it's gonna come up to that, but I don't want to use this number twice, okay? This number I put here, and then the rest of this stuff I'm gonna put here. Okay, now we're done. Sales minus COGS is gross margin minus expenses equals what? What's the name of this thing? What's the name of this thing? The P&L, the profit and loss. So what do you think this last line is? Profit or loss, okay? If the number is positive, you have made a profit. If the number is negative, you have made a loss. And by the way, when I say you made a loss, I don't mean you're starving and you're eating cat food, okay? Because you paid yourself. You've made a salary. I just mean the business has made a loss, okay? In this example, the business has made a profit because the number is positive. Cool? Okay. Do not leave me tonight freaking out. I'm gonna go over all of this stuff multiple times. All I want you to do, make sure you can log into Jupiter Grades, and what will you be doing on the toilet? No pun intended, flush out your idea for your business. Yes. 11:45 in the morning and 7:30 at night in the art lab, back corner. And that is all of our stuff that's going on for the term. Cool. Any other questions? Guess I should turn off my YouTube.